friends, this is Cindy from Stamped with Aloha, and I have a really fun card to teach you today. We're going to be working with a brand new Party Piggy, and I'm going to teach you how to create a dancing pig card. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is the cute little Party Piggy set. Fell in love with this the moment I saw it. This is very so Cindy. Okay, let's begin with our stamping. So I'm going to get out my Memento ink. And the first thing that I'm going to do is stamp the body. Now, when you're inking up the body, you want to be careful that you don't put too much ink in this area right there. If you collect ink on that piece of the stamp and then you press too hard, then you'll have a smudge in a spot that you don't want it to. So just be careful. If you notice that there's a lot of ink buildup there, I would recommend just cleaning it off with like a little napkin or paper towel before you stamp it. Another thing about the pig's body is you need to leave room, because you'll notice that the die has this little extra ridge to it there to create the top of the pig's body. So you want to make sure that you leave space so that you can die cut that and don't stamp another image too close to that. So that's why I did the body first, and then I'll go ahead and stamp the head next. Okay, then I'm going to take these two dies, I'm going to line them up, and I'm going to go run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and then we'll have a die cut pig. All right, for the next step, we're gonna color our pig. Now, pigs come in all different colors. You could leave the pig white and just add a little bit of brown or gray to it, but I'm gonna make this a pink pig. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Bubble Bath Light, Bubble Bath Dark, and Light Pecan Pie. Okay, so now the pig is colored, and what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to trim a little bit of that white edge underneath the pig's neck here. So I'm just come here to the side, and a lot of times it's really nice to have that white frame around images to just help them to pop out more, but I just want to trim a little bit there so it just will go together a little bit more nicely when we glue him together. So then I will go ahead and put some adhesive on the back. And then we will just prop the head. And I kind of like to put the head a little bit to the side like that. Okay, so now the pig is done, and we are gonna make this into a dancing pig, but let's go ahead and move now to our card base, and let me show you how I created that. So the card base is really simple. I have Pool Party cardstock 4 1/4 by 11, and then I have a piece of espresso cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 1 1/4. And as you can see, I've already embossed this with the embossing folder that's a part of the Happy Hibiscus bundle. So that is a 3D embossing folder. It's also a hybrid embossing folder, and it goes with the Happy Hibiscus stamp set. And so I wanted to bring that into this because this is a nice tropical, gonna be our hula pig. So we wanted to have some hibiscus texture on here. So I'm gonna just add some adhesive to that strip, and I'm gonna glue that to the bottom of the card base. All right, next we're gonna be using some die cut pieces. So I have a die cut out of basic white cardstock with the Everyday Arches. This really cute frame, I love this frame, is from the Happy Hibiscus bundle as well. And that's where we're gonna stamp our sentiment. And then also from the Happy Hibiscus bundle, I have die cut 4 of these little tiny flowers that we're going to use to adorn on our little piggy. All right, so let's start by placing some dimensionals behind the arch. Okay, and we'll place that right there onto the card, and I'm going to have it place it a little bit more towards the top fold of the card so that you'll see more of that embossed base on there. And then we also need space to put our sentiment. All right, let's stamp our sentiment next. And so with Memento ink, we're gonna go ahead and ink up the words, "What's shakin' bacon?" And we'll center that. Okay. All right, so our stamping for this card is all done. Let's bring this over. And for this one, I'm gonna just add a couple of dimensionals all the way at the bottom here. And then this is going to sit just underneath onto that brown embossed part. Okay, all right, so now we are ready to create the hula skirt. So to create the hula skirt, I have the die here, and I have taken a piece of garden green cardstock and I die cut this. Now, you don't need to do the whole pig because we're only gonna use this bottom portion here. So use your scrap paper to do this. So got my garden green cut out. And then I use the pig's tail here as a guideline. So I want the top of the skirt to be just above the tail. So I'm gonna bring my snips in here, and right above the tail, I'm gonna just kind of cut a curved line. It's gonna go up like that. So just a slight little curve, okay? Then after I cut that curve, I'll come back in, I'll cut the tail off, and I'll come around and I'll cut off the leg on both sides. And that is how I create the hula skirt. Then I'm gonna turn it, and then you can always, at this point, you can always measure it and see, do you want it a little bit shorter? Do you want it a little bit longer? I think that looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and take and go ahead and just cut little slits to make the skirt. I'll do that all the way across. Okay, so I can fluff it up a little bit and take my glue and go ahead and place that on the piggy. Next, I'm going to use some mini glue dots, and we will add our little flower, and we'll place the flower there. And then we'll take 3 more mini glue dots and we will create a lei. And I'll just place one at this side. I'll place one on this side, and then we'll join them with one in the center. You can use whatever embellishment you want for the center of the flowers. I'm going to use these brand new flat pearls that are in our brand new in colors. And so I think for this one, I'm going to make it pink. So I'm going to take a medium one and put it up here. And then I'm going to take these small ones and I'll put a small one in the center of each of the flowers. Okay. And then these flowers you can fluff up as well if you want. They're die cut really nicely. All right, so our card is almost finished. The last thing that we are gonna do is we just need to mount the pig to the front of the card. So normally I would add a couple dimensionals and I would pop that on there as our focal point, but this is going to be a moving card and I want this piggy to dance. And so in order to make that happen, I purchased these little Wobbles off of Amazon, and they are like a little kind of an oval shape. They have sticky adhesive on the open side as well as on the back side here. So what you'll do is you could just take your fingernail, you could also take like your paper snips or a little piercing tool, and you just want to lift off that coating on there. And then we'll take that and you'll stick that to whatever you want to wobble. So I'm going to stick that on the back of the pig. And then back here, I'm going to go ahead and just peel that off again, using your nail or again, like a tool, piercing tool. We'll take off the backing. Now it's nice and sticky. And then you'll just position that where you want it to go. So we're gonna put that like right here and then press it down. And then your piggy will now dance. I love this pig so much. I've even created another dancing pig, and you'll have to check out my next video to see what type of a dancer that one is, but for sure, it's another one you're not gonna wanna miss. So I hope to see you back real soon for my next video. And until then, I wish you a happy and blessed day. Aloha.